Hey, how you doing? This is Adam Post, publisher of College of the Dead, 30-year veteran of making comic books, and stories, and self-employed forever. Never had a job. That's a plus, right? Yeah, no, I always have my own businesses. Okay, so I've been around the block a few times, and I'm on CNBC like I do sometimes, and I'm looking at articles, and I just saw this tonight, and I'm like, wait a minute. So CNBC says a lot of nice things for Disney, and that's great. But this is about ridiculous. So they just quote here: 10-hour lines are not a sign of success. How Galaxy's Edge is preserving the Disney guest experience. So they're pretty much just taking Disney's word that, hey, don't worry about nobody going to the new Star Wars event over there that they have at the theme park, the Galaxy's Edge, where they recreated a whole Star Wars world, and they have the freaking Millennium Falcon there. And don't worry though, because waiting in line for 10 hours, like meaning that if it was actually busy and people actually went, that wouldn't even be a sign of success. I don't know what that would be a sign of. It'd be a sign of, look, I've been to theme parks. You've been to theme parks. I've been to Disney. I've been here. I've been there. Yeah, if there's no lines, it's a failure. Okay. Obviously, but let's see what they say. Okay. So the key points to this article on CNBC by the great Sarah Whitten are: during its earnings report earlier this month, Disney CEO Bob Iger noted that park attendance at its domestic Disney parks was down about 3% in the fiscal third quarter. So that just means like total revenue was down by 3%. 3% is not a big number, but for a company that does $10 billion a year and more in theme park attendance, that's a lot of money. It's a chunk of change. What is that? $300 million? It's a lot. Okay. Also, remember, Disney is being accused by a whistleblower for fraudulently overstating 1 year alone's worth of theme park revenue by $6 billion. That was a video we did earlier, and the whistleblower was an accountant that was working for Disney. But okay, so as it says here, while some analysts have speculated that this was a sign that Galaxy's Edge was not well received by fans, Disney says, oh, no. It all went according to plan. Sure it did. They expected it to be pretty much a ghost town. Okay, so the company has already set up a virtual queue line that guests can use if a ride's line gets too long. This allows guests to enjoy other aspects of the park and then return. Yeah, of course they have a virtual queue line. Whatever. They've been working on that and managing the crowds for decades. But supposedly when it comes to Star Wars, they got it all figured out. So it's at capacity. It's incredibly busy, totally successful, but they don't actually, have a full park somehow. Okay. When you land on the outer rim of Planet Blank, never mind all that. Okay. So we went over the 3%. It's in Anaheim, California. And, as they say, some analysts have even speculated this is a sign that the new Star Wars theme land was not well received by fans. Au contraire. No, impossible. In fact, shares of the company. Now watch this. Watch how this is totally excessively Disney friendly. Remember I told you about the whistleblower thing, right? That was about theme park attendance 10 years ago of $6 billion worth of alleged overstatement of revenues. Fraud. See if they mention the stock price when it slumped recently and why it slumped. So over here, our little friend who writes the article says, in fact, shares of the company slumped due in part to disappointing attendance numbers. Okay. The integration of Fox Entertainment assets as well as streaming investments also weighed on the company's stock. Oh, really? Did it? Oh, well, what about that $700 million miss in the third quarter that Disney had? I didn't have the article here. You can Google it. It's also in another video that I did, just one or two previous. And analysts had expected $4.5 billion in box office revenue from Disney in the third quarter because they had all their hits plus Captain Marvel, and it was off by $700 million. That's why the stock was tanking that day. The author doesn't even state that here. Doing a little bit of narrative control for our friends over at Disney. So despite the fall in foot traffic, Disney executives were happy with the experience they were able to provide guests with during the first 3 months the land was open. What? Okay, yeah, they were happy. What? That maybe nobody got killed? That's always good when nobody gets killed. Disney's customer satisfaction scores have indicated that Galaxy's Edge is the most popular area in Disneyland Park. Well, what does that mean? It's the new. Some other things were there for what, 30 years, 40 years? Some of the other attractions, 20 years. Yeah, it's a new attraction. So it's the most popular area. So what does that mean? Just it's new. Okay. But why is it overwhelmed? Why is it supposedly so popular, but it's not overwhelmed? They have an actual size Millennium Falcon back when Star Wars was cool before they ruined it, right? So one of the wins, okay, let's just look at this last thing here. One of the wins that we had with the opening of the original Galaxy's Edge is that we didn't have the waits. They opened, it's unbelievable, inconceivable. Before the Last Jedi movie, if they were to open a Disney theme park, a freaking Disney Star Wars theme park with a real full, that's not a toy. That's a real full-size Millennium Falcon. Can it fly? No, it doesn't fly, you foolish person. Of course it doesn't fly. But it's a real Millennium-sized Millennium Falcon. You can go inside of it. It's freaking should be awesome. There are enough Star Wars fans in any state in the United States to freaking mob this thing. And no, it wasn't mobbed. We didn't have the waits. Bob is like, hey, boss, look. Hey, we didn't have anybody waiting to get on, into the rides. It's fantastic. It's like, yeah, but Bob, like, we expected a lot more people. We needed a lot more people. But no, they ruined Star Wars. They ruined the franchise, so people are a lot less interested in it now. And even though they still generate some revenue from the Star Wars franchise, the people who were passionate about it are disappointed. They're called the Phantom Menace. The deep secret is that we don't intend to have lines. If you build in enough capacity, the rides don't go down and operates 99% efficiency, so you shouldn't have 10-hour lines. So 10-hour lines are not a sign of success, he says. It should be a sign of frankly, of failure. Well, I know a little bit about production management, and there's no way to get away from overwhelming, initially, a big burst of demand. The only way they could do that is if they had like 8 Millennium Falcons, which is what they would have needed if they did this before Disney bought the franchise. Absolutely ridiculous baloney, and they just print it as true. Okay, anyways, look, they can spin this any which number of ways they want to. You can go here and check this article yourself on CNBC if you like. I'll put the description and the links below. But obviously, they screwed up Star Wars, and now they're paying the price. Here's a book that's not screwed up, a project that's not screwed up. College of the Dead. It's a book that I'm publishing, a 140-page graphic novel. But the special thing I want to show you about it tonight, because it's still available on Indiegogo, is I just got the layouts for the ashcan of the cover. The ashcan is a book that actually shows you the full script and the photos that we use from the script and the photo reference to actually give to the artist to get the layouts done so we can then approve and do the book. So this is the first page. You really get to see, you can see here the script. You really get to see the layouts from the script and to see how the book gets made and how it was done. And the ashcan is available on the campaign, and you're able to get the ashcan along with the comic. That's actually our featured item here at the top. The ashcan's 100 pages. It's got the full script, all the layouts, and then there's another 140-page graphic novel, the comic book of College of the Dead. It's black and white. It's all completely done. These are going to be shipping in October of 2019. And this is the cover to our next volume, volume 2 of College of the Dead, which is also already done. And we're finishing that up so we can be shipping that as soon as January 2020. That is not available for purchase yet, but it is available for purchase to get the College of the Dead graphic novel with the Ashcan. I highly recommend it, and check it out. It's on Indiegogo. The links are going to be in the description, and you can also see. Look at my beautiful Ashcan. It's fantastic. This stuff is just so cool when you're putting this stuff together. You get to see the art, and you get to see the script. You get to see the layouts. You get to see how everything is done. This is really where it's at. There's nothing like making projects and really being proud of them and loving your work. So check this out. Look at the links in the description below. You will find your way to it. And thanks for checking this out. If you think that Disney is being legit and they never expected to have lines when they built an entire actual Millennium Falcon, go ahead and put that in the comments below. Or comment otherwise if you think that they're full of baloney. Go ahead and like this video, share it, and also be sure to subscribe and click the bell for notifications. Thank you and have a great night.